Hi, I'm Sharyn Murray, and on today's Breezin with Bierman, I'm filling in for Adam Bierman. I am the station manager, and so welcome to Breezin with Bierman. On the segment today, we have a special relationship coach, Neha Sonney, and I'm filling in, so I'm going to read her bio. Neha is a relationship coach. Having felt alone and unloved inside of her marriage, she decided to quit her marriage and find a relationship she had dreamed about. After over 20 years of not giving up on love, she's now living that dream every moment. She now helps singles recover themselves after bad relationships and helps them find true love. As a single woman, I can tell you I'm looking forward to this segment. So welcome, Neha.
Thank you very much, Sharyn.
You're welcome. So what would your life look like if you hadn't pursued this dream career of yours?
This dream of finding a relationship, it's something I cherished since the teenage hormones kicked in. And had I not believed in myself, I would be in the marriage that did not allow for me to grow as a person. I would be a very bitter person. I would have given in to the society. I would not have pursued anything that would allow me to grow. I probably would be a very angry person towards my child, my son. And that's something I could just not relate with.
Would you feel comfortable sharing a few details of your first marriage?
It was an arranged marriage, and I didn't quite have a chance to get to know the person and spend enough time for me to decide. All decisions were pre-made per se for me. And I have to say, yes, it's not like that I have a choice. So I felt that I had to just listen to what they're saying. I was pleasing those people. I was trying to make everyone happy, but I myself was not a very happy person, and I could just not identify with it. There were instances where I can't relate with wearing too much jewelry, for example, and dress very Indian and be very traditional. I can fully respect people, and I don't necessarily have to do the traditional things in order to show respect. Respect is shown from the heart. It's not I won't show it to you just because you expect it from me. And that was something, that space, that authenticity, that freedom that allows for that to happen was not there. Everything was, I have to go by the books, and this is how it is, this is how it's going to remain. For example, we celebrated Diwali in India, and the place I grew up in Bahrain, in a very simple way. And when I was in my marriage, it was a night-long affair. It didn't need to go that long, but it was all prayers, and I felt it was really unnecessary, and it just kind of soured the essence of the New Year the Hindus celebrated. Mm-hmm. And I was very happy, actually, when I gave birth to my son, that I didn't have to put up with all of these formalities, and that pissed off a lot of people.
Was this in India? Was
I lived after I got married. I lived in Hong Kong. So okay. My then husband, he is an Indian, born and raised in Hong Kong.
Okay, now I understand.
Yeah.
Now you shared with me prior to starting the show that you were a teacher.
Yes.
Prior to being a relationship coach.
That's correct.
And you shared something very interesting about a correlation, a parallel between teaching and relationships.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
It's people finding security within a relationship and empowerment is going to allow for them to grow. I feel that as a human, the birth that you're given, that the reason you are here on earth is for expansion. Now, the way and what I experienced as a teacher didn't allow for, it was crushing the spirits of the children, and the system won't allow for them to explore their creative sides. It was very bookish, and I wanted to bring the difference. The only difference that could make them happy would be allowing for them to learn in the way that they are capable of, so they can understand. Anybody would understand the language of love. Anybody would anybody would feel appreciated if they are taught with a lot of patience, and if they're given the freedom, they grow to love and enjoy whatever they're learning, versus forced into doing something they don't even know what they're doing. And that happened a lot in Hong Kong, where local children went to schools and were frustrated. Parents pressuring them to, because academically they have to excel, and not necessarily everyone is born to excel academically. There's so many other gifts that they have that they need to discover. Who's going to allow for that to happen? And the similarity, I would tie that with relationships, is if you have a trusting relationship with someone, it grows you into a very loving person. The capacity to love grows tremendously. The capacity for acceptance of other people as well grows, and it has the capability, the potential for two people that are coming together to do something absolutely amazing.
I absolutely agree with that, and I'm looking forward to that future. For right now, though, let's go back to the typical relationship of a person putting on a facade during the courtship, and then there's marriage, and then things sometimes fall apart after that. What do you have to say about that?
Well, if they started a relationship, and if people want to find relationships, people want to find partners, and oftentimes when they're dating, there's a lot of there's this protection mechanism that people use because they want to be accepted, they want to be loved, and it's a very, in a way, it's selfish, but it's not necessarily fulfilling in the long term. Putting up a false identity just so that one is accepted is not helpful. But let's say people believe in that, and two people go ahead and find some similarities. They realize, okay, maybe this is really love. We like each other. Maybe the chemistry is amazing. But is there enough friendship? Probably not. So when they marry and when they start to live with each other, when they're in, let's say, challenged by each other, when there is heated emotional discussions, are they able to handle that well enough and be able to effectively communicate? All of those come out only when a person is friends with someone. And that's how it was when we were in school, for example. We had built beautiful relationships, we had long-term friendships at school because we met those people regularly. We saw them every day. We built trust with them. We can do many things together with them, versus just trying to please someone. So if people are going to just go into please someone so that they're liked, that's very sad. And it does not help because they have not shown their true selves. Also, they have not seen the other person for who that person actually is. And when it comes out one day in the open, it feels like this was a bad decision. We should have never married. We should have never met each other. And then they have to go the separate ways, and there's a lot of bitterness around things. So it's best to start with on a foundation that's going to be more solid.
So there's a famous line of a song, a Freddie Mercury song, "Find me somebody to love."
Yeah.
So I almost think it's better to have the feeling, to feel that you're in love than to be loved. I feel like that's a more powerful feeling at times, is to feel like loving towards something or somebody.
Yes, correct. And I like the way you have put it. And one can only be loving when they have loved themselves.
Absolutely. Amen.
Amen. Yes. If they can't love themselves, they cannot love another person, which is exactly where I was.
Well, what would you say is the biggest turning point in your dating life?
So what happened was I was meeting a lot of guys, but for whatever reason, I just could not connect with them, or I did not find them committing. It was 3 dates and the boy disappears, 3 dates and the guy disappears, and it's not lasting. I wanted to know what was I doing wrong. And so I realized, I read up, I researched, I wanted to work on myself. And then I came across a certain, I can't remember the name of the person, but this couple was talking about some emotional investment, that when a woman is able to show her emotions effectively to a man, she arouses in the man the potential to be her partner, and they need to understand how they can express that. Now, if a man has seen a woman physically naked before they have seen her emotionally naked, there are high chances that man is not going to be with that woman, because why should he commit to someone? What is she inspiring of him to do? Why should he have a family with her? Why would he invest in her? And so there is no emotional commitment, which a lot of women feel is missing. So how can I worked on it, how can I inspire in a man to be protective of me, to be my husband, my boyfriend, my whoever, to be my life partner, to be a soulmate, to be with me for the rest of my life? How would he invest? How would he take it?
I'm sitting on pins and needles. What's the answer?
The answer is working on, okay, so a lot of women, when they're emotionally charged, and this happens when they're asked a question when they don't know how to respond to a man. When they respond in an emotional way, they show anger.
Oh.
And oftentimes, it may drive men away. There is another way to express it. And when you personally are okay with that anger, you are okay with displaying your emotion, you're okay showing your vulnerability, that is when a man sees that he can do something to help you, because men are dying to find someone who is going to ask them to be a superhero to a woman. They're dying for that to happen.
Can you give us an example of a situation where a woman needs something from a man, of the ways that she can show vulnerability?
Asking a man who may not necessarily be a sexual partner in the beginning, or he could be, but it's better if it's done before. So asking a man for help. I need your help with something, like whatever you
painting, or even painting.
Painting, anything that you would expect that a man would be happy to do, like that's a man's job to do, like, you know, move heavy things for you. I missed the only time I missed having a man in my life is when I had to shift homes and I was carrying heavy things from one place to another. It would have really helped if I had someone to help me with that. And I expressed myself in a way that my friend at that time could possibly help me. So we were friends at that time. Other things that a woman can do is, so I need your help with whatever, and expressing that you are scared. I am scared. You are showing that you are scared. We're not turning anything on someone else. We're talking about ourselves. I am afraid. I am scared. So this inspires a man to protect a woman, because that's what they're for.
So it sounds to me like there's a golden rule I have of not making the other person wrong. So it sounds like a lot of relationships that fail is like, you this and you that, and you don't do this and you don't do that, and there's a lot of blame.
Yes.
Where you're talking about taking 100% responsibility for your actions, for your emotions, and just expressing it from, you know, they say in relationships, to use the I word, like don't.
That is right. That is correct.
Basically.
You inspire a man by talking about how you feel, and I feel this way. So you need to be first okay with expressing that, and it's no point making the other person wrong. Blame is again more like a defense mechanism, and it's really pointless to blame. It just goes on and it makes things worse. So if you take full responsibility, if the other person takes full responsibility, I 100% believe that people are better communicators when they take responsibility for themselves and choose to not blame. The other thing I practiced for many years was meditation, and that helps to calm the emotions and like regulates hormones in the body. So when you're much calmer, you have better approach to communication, you have better approach to relationships, and you choose to, you know, take better responsibility for yourself. And blaming the other person is just going to be pointless. That means you're giving away your power. You know, that means that other things still controls you. Your anger, the bitterness, whatever it is, that thing that happened in the past, you haven't dealt with, for which you want to blame. It's still controlling you. The other person is controlling you. You want to take that power back.
Well, you have a piece of advice, and this is the last question. You have a piece of advice for people to stop dating, put the smartphone down. So can you explain a little bit about your philosophy on that?
Yes. Dating.
It's the opposite of what most people tell you.
Yes.
Get out there, get on all the dating sites you can. But you're saying the opposite.
Well, if you were doing what everyone else is doing, you're going to end up with the same results. If you have not had a different result, do you think you should do something different? If your answer is yes, then my advice would be to not date. Well, okay, you can have play dates where you go and do activities together that you both enjoy. Let's say you enjoy dancing. You know, you and the guy can go dancing and then talk about things. Dating is like, movies have spoiled it for us. Like, I'm going on a date. And it's like when you go out on dates, you dress up or you do whatever, or you go on a coffee date. And why is it associated with food? Why is it associated? How much can you know a person if you're going on dates? In the way that is seen as dating. And so if you get out of that mindset of, like, you know, and that expectation of this is what a date is supposed to be like. A walk can be a date, an activity done together, an art class taken together can be a date. Sitting and talking and getting to know another person can also be a date. It doesn't have to revolve around the typical stuff. If you go and watch a movie together on a first date, how much have you known about the other person, apart from the fact that you probably like the same movie, you have the same taste in the movies? How much do you get to know about the person? If you're trying to find someone, would you think it's important that you know yourself and know what you want?
Well, what's the perfect date for you? What would a perfect date be?
I love beaches. I love hikes. I love nature.
Okay.
And I love biking. I like going on active dates, and I love dancing as well. So that's, for me, a perfect date. And I prefer many times that my such dates are stretched out, so I have a better chance of doing something where I get to know the person I am with. Well, I already have someone in my life, and I go out on.
I was just going to add that. You're a very attractive woman, but you are taken right now. So, but how can people get in touch with you as a relationship coach?
I am very active on my Facebook page. That's one way to get in touch with me.
And that is?
I go by the name Coach Neha. And
Coach Neha.
Yeah, it's at Infinite Wisdom 999 / but if you look up Coach Neha with a face like this, you'll probably find me with tons of videos about dating, relationships, and yeah, just send me messages, get in touch with me. There's an email as well on my Facebook page. You can contact me there.
Great.
I'll be more than happy to help you.
All right. Well, I happen to agree with a lot that you had to say. So thank you so much for your time, Neha.
Thank you very much, Sharyn. It's a pleasure to be with you. Pleasure to be here.